I want to take you live right now to Tel Aviv. As we mentioned, Tehran has threatened to fire missiles at Israel. We now understand those rockets have been fired. These are night images coming out of Tel Aviv. As the camera will pan up in just a moment, you can see the Iron Dome intercepting several of those missiles as they are now on their way to Tel Aviv. The Iron Dome system, of course, the complement to our Patriot missile battery that was developed in the United States and modified for the skies over Tehran. Again, the question that has to be asked is whether or not this particular system can be overwhelmed. The missiles, CNN and several other news outlets are reporting, are in the sky at this moment. These are the images that you will see. You'll see tracer fire almost, if you would, if it were a missile, but the Iron Dome will dispatch a missile, a projectile, towards the incoming missile in hopes of intercepting it before it hits any population areas. The question, as I mentioned, is whether or not the Iron Dome system can be overwhelmed. There are a limited number of missiles that can be fired at Tehran, but remember, Hezbollah is said to contain some 150 to 200,000 rockets and missiles that it can launch, and that does not include what we may be looking at from Tehran. I'm trying to determine right now whether or not there is any audio coming. By the way, this scene that you're looking at has nothing to do with what we're talking about. There was actually a gunman that opened fire. Several people, as you can see, were injured. We don't know why this particular event happened, and then came the reports that the rockets were being fired. I believe you're looking at one right now. It is that dot on the top of your screen. Again, these are images coming in from Tel Aviv. It is not that late in the evening in the Middle East. It's just simply the night skies have already fallen on Tel Aviv. Actual time right now, 7:39 p.m. in Tel Aviv. Again, the question that is being asked at this moment is, can the United States and its allies, which in the last instance included Jordan, which intercepted missiles that were fired over Jordan, in the skies over Jordan, can it intercept all of the missiles that are incoming towards Tel Aviv, and whether or not the Iron Dome system is prepared to handle what could be a much larger response than Tehran launched a few months ago, when only 300 missiles were fired. Once again, confirmation now from Israel that Tehran has fired missiles towards Tel Aviv. We're going to keep an eye on this situation to determine whether or not what the U.S. response will be. Of course, we showed you that scene from the White House just moments ago. It is a high alert right now in the White House, as they warned earlier today that Tehran would be launching this missile attack. It now appears that the missile attack has been launched. The IDF is now confirming that missiles are incoming. Now you can hear the sirens as those missiles are incoming. People in Tel Aviv are being told to go to special shelters that are in place. They know exactly what to do. It is a well-rehearsed drill. Let's keep an eye. Let's listen for a second. By way of the record, at exactly 7:39 East Coast time, the IDF reported that Tehran had indeed launched a missile attack on Tel Aviv and several other sites, we would assume, across Israel. Once again, Hezbollah has enough rockets to overwhelm the Iron Dome system. Let's take a look and see whether or not that is the case this time. there is a dual threat, by the way, from these missile launches. If they are intercepted by the Iron Dome system, and it appears that most have been, but once again, we won't know until we get, wait a minute, I think we're hearing one that may have struck a building in Tel Aviv. But remember, there's the actual threat from the missile itself, and as we have seen so many times on the ground right now in Ukraine, in Kyiv, that even when missiles are intercepted, some of the fragments, some of the explosives, some of the warheads can fall on populated areas, causing destruction and death. As you can see, this appeared to be the first volley of those missiles that were launched from Tehran. We're keeping an eye on the night sky. We are seeing this as you are seeing this. There is nothing that is tape delayed. This is a live image coming out of Tel Aviv. As you can see, the reason the cameras are there was because there was a stabbing. There was an attack on the streets of Tel Aviv. We don't know exactly whether that was linked to anything that has to do with the rising tensions in the region. But once again, we received word from the White House. We also received words from the IDF that Tehran was launching these missiles towards Tel Aviv. You saw them being intercepted over the night skies of Tel Aviv just moments ago by the Iron Dome system. Less clear whether the Iron Dome intercepted all of the missiles. It's difficult to get a count on just how many were launched. You can see another one right now in the night sky. The photographer trying to focus on what is going on. By way of reference, Hezbollah, the other player in this, has roughly 150 to 300,000 missiles that it could fire at Tel Aviv. And also, there is also the threat from Hamas. Hamas has not gone away. Although severely decimated, it would be difficult to put them as down for the count, because any threat to any citizen in Israel is a threat to all citizens in Israel. It also should be pointed out that it is not just Israel that is defending itself. The United States has a massive military presence in the Gulf. Many of the missiles that would be coming across the sea would be intercepted by American aircraft carriers that are there. Israel has braced for this, so it is not like they are going to be surprised. They knew this attack was coming. As you can see, the residents on the streets of Tel Aviv right now, where it's just 7:30 in the evening, are huddled next to walls where they are told to go. Just moments ago, the sirens started to sound, telling people in Israel to go to their designated bomb shelters where they will shelter in place. And by the way, the people who are not inside those shelters have also been told to shelter in place, as Israel tonight is under high alert. This, by the way, is the scene from Beirut, Lebanon. As you can see, I believe you're looking at the Holy City. Right now, though, the night skies from Beirut appear to be calmer than what we were seeing in Tel Aviv. Back on the scene right now. This is the scene from Beirut. No, this is Tel Aviv. So my apologies if I identify a city incorrectly. We are looking at the images coming in just as you are seeing them. This is Tel Aviv. It is 7:45 right now in the evening in Tel Aviv. It is really dinner hour. Dinner hour disrupted just moments ago by the sounds of air raid sirens, as the IDF confirmed, the White House warned that Tehran would be launching a missile attack against Israel after the incursion into Lebanon. So let's go back to how we got here. On October 7th, approximately 1 year ago, Hamas launched that massive attack against Israel in which 1,200 members of the Israeli population were killed. They were brutally killed, some of them raped and some of them butchered. And then that led to the Israeli response against Hamas. 45,000 people later are now dead as a result of the Israeli airstrikes and ground incursion into Gaza, many of those Hamas fighters. During that time, there have been back and forth missile strikes, rocket launches between Hezbollah to the north and Israel to the south. Most of those rockets have been intercepted, with the possible exception of one that fell on a crowded playground in which a small child was killed. That was the first escalation. The second escalation then came roughly 2 weeks ago, when all of a sudden pagers and cell phones across Lebanon started exploding without any warning, and people were rushed to the hospital. I don't remember the exact number of people that were killed. The producers will tell me in my ear in just a moment, but some 2,000 to 3,000 people were injured. And these were not wounds. These were very serious wounds, and depending on where the particular pager or cell phone was located. In many cases, it was located near their hip. In other cases, they might have had a cell phone up to their ear, and the wound would be a wound to eye. Doctors reported that we talked to saying many of the injuries that came into emergency rooms were eye injuries. We're looking right now at the street presence in Tel Aviv. That was the second escalation. The third escalation, of course, coming recently when the head of Hezbollah and many other members of Hezbollah were decapitated in several Israeli missile strikes on targets inside of Beirut. As many as 100 people were told were killed. Many of those that were killed were civilians, but also the head of Hezbollah and several other commanders in the Hezbollah infrastructure were killed in what was considered to be a decapitation situation, a decapitation scenario where they tried to eliminate the various images that we would see, the various leadership of Hezbollah. Once again, these are live now images coming in from Beirut. The night skies there appear so far to be calm. You can expect at any moment you will probably see an Israeli retaliation. And keep in mind, Israel is now positioned not only on the border between Israel and Lebanon, but also announced just today that they have begun limited incursions inside Lebanon, where they say that they will now try to root out Hezbollah, the tunnels where many of those rockets that are aimed at Israel have been launched. I want to show you right now the night skies over Jerusalem. As again, you can see the dome. You can see the dome, which is occupied by all three major religions. It is considered to be a sacred, holy site by all three major religions. So you would not expect to see any type of rocket fire over what is considered to be the holy city, not only for Christians, for Jews, for Muslims, but that is not the case for Tel Aviv. And Tel Aviv will be a major target of both Hezbollah and also of Tehran. The other situation, and we'll keep an eye on that, is whether or not we have any images coming out of Tehran, because it is anticipated that if there is a strike by Tehran, and it appears now that that is underway, that Israel will then retaliate against Tehran. Specifically, their concern is the Iranian nuclear program and whether or not Iran is close to getting the bomb. One of the first targets that Israel would possibly strike inside Iran would be the Iranian nuclear program to decapitate that situation. Keep in mind that one of the assassinations that took place on Iranian soil, where the leader of Hamas was there to attend a funeral and was actually killed inside a room that was under the control of the Revolutionary Guard, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, which not only was a deadly strike, it was also a major source of embarrassment for the Iranian hierarchy. Night skies over Beirut, once again. Night skies are clear over Beirut. That could change at any moment. We're going to take a break. We'll be back. Stay with us.